So today's class is dosage forms. In that contents are introduction, classification of dosage forms, solid dosage forms, liquid dosage forms, semi-solids, gaseous and new drug delivery system. So in that first you have to know about drug and dosage form and as well as excipients also. So first one, what is a drug? Drug is a chemical compound which is used to treatment, prevent and diagnosis and mitigation of a disease or a disorder in humans as well as animals also. Whereas dosage form is a composition of active pharmaceutical ingredient, that means drug, and excipients. So the composition of excipients and active pharmaceutical ingredient is known as dosage form, whereas a drug means is a chemical substance which is used to indent, prevent, treatment and mitigation of the disease or disorder. And excipients are, they don't have a therapeutic efficacy to treat the disease, whereas which are used to improve bulk of the system, that means bulk of a dosage form. These excipients are used and these are inert agents, that means they don't have a therapeutic effect. Examples for excipients are dyes, preservatives, flavoring agents, coloring agents, sweetening agents, binding agents. All are different categories of excipients which are used to improve bulk of a dosage form. Next one, what is the use of excipients are used in the preparation of dosage form, or why you are not using drug alone in the dosage form means because drugs are very unpleasant in their taste, so that we can't administer single or alone. That's why you have to add excipients to improve the taste of a drug to increase palatability of the preparation. Whereas these are having some effects due to light and moisture content from the atmosphere, so that we have to protect them from the light and moisture, because after absorption of moisture and light they may get deteriorated, so that we have to protect them from the atmospheric conditions. Whereas to target the site of administration we have to use excipients. That's why we should not use drug alone in the preparation of dosage form. Whereas if you are using drug alone, they may cause local injury or local irritations, so that we have to use drug along with the excipients. If you are using drug alone in the dosage form preparation, they may have side effects that are difficult to target the site of administration, whereas the size and shape and particle size of the preparation may leads to improper absorption, whereas they have unpleasant taste and odor. So to mask the taste and odor of a drug we have to use excipients, whereas these drug alone used in the preparation of dosage form, they may cause injury or local irritation, so that we can't use drug alone in the preparation of dosage form. And next one, what is the advantages with dosage form preparation, or what is the need for dosage form? First one is accurate dose. To provide accurate dose of a drug we have to use dosage form, and to give protection for drug from the atmospheric conditions. Atmospheric conditions are light, heat and oxygen. If you are absorbing or drug absorbing heat and light and moisture, they may get deteriorated, so that we have to make it as a dosage form. And another one, the drug may also deteriorated in gastric juice also. That's why we have to provide protection for the drug from the gastric juice also. That's why we have to prepare it as a dosage form. And another one, the drug may be inserted into body cavities like nasal cavity, vaginal cavity, rectal cavity by using dosage forms, because we have suppositories that are one type of dosage form which are used to insert into body cavities to treat diseases regarding the body cavities. Next one, to give optimal action of a drug also you have to make it as a dosage form. These are all the advantages with dosage form, that are we have to provide accurate dose and we have to provide protection from the gastric juice as well as atmospheric conditions like oxygen, light and moisture, whereas we have to insert into body cavities, that is by using of dosage forms, whereas we have to provide optimal therapeutic action by the dosage forms, as well as we have to mask the taste and odor by using this dosage form preparations. Next one, this is a classification of dosage forms. We have different types of dosage form, that is solid dosage form, liquid dosage form and semi-solids and gaseous dosage forms. And again of solid dosage form divided into two classes, that is unit dosage form and bulk dosage forms. And unit dosage form examples are tablets, capsules, powders and pills, whereas bulk dosage forms are again of two types, that is internal and external dosage forms. Internal examples are fine powders and granules, whereas external examples are dusting powders, insufflations, dentifrice, nerves and ear powders. Whereas liquid dosage forms are again of two types, that is biphasic and monophasic. So in that biphasic examples are emulsions and suspensions, whereas monophasic examples are again of two types, internal and external. Internal examples are syrups, elixirs, linctures and drops, whereas external examples are liniments, lotions, gargles, throat paints, mouthwashes and etc. Whereas semi-solid dosage forms are also of again two types, that is external and internal. Internal examples are suppositories and pessaries, whereas external examples are ointment, cream, paste and jellies. So next one, shall we discuss about solid dosage forms. Solid dosage forms are unit dosage forms. Unit dosage form is you can take it as an individual form. For example, tablets and capsules, you can take it as an individual form from strip, that is called unit dosage form. If you can't take it as an individual one from the strip, that is called bulk dosage form. Example is powder. Powders are can't take it as an individual one, whereas tablets, capsules and suppositories all are unit dosage form because you can take it as an individual one or single from the strip. And solid dosage forms are packed in unit dosage forms as well as bulk dosage forms also. In case of bulk dosage forms, again of two types, that is internal and external. Internal means you can take it as a body, whereas external means apply on the skin or any other wounds on the skin. And in case of bulk, you have to provide you have to make it as a fine powders. Example is dusting powder or tooth powders. Whereas in case of internal use, we have to provide it as a granules or powders. So solid dosage forms are of two types. It may be unit dosage form or it may be bulk dosage form. Unit dosage form means you can take it as a single or individual one from the strip. Whereas bulk dosage form means we can't take it as an individual one. So example for bulk dosage form is powders, whereas examples for unit dosage forms is tablets, capsules and pills. Whereas bulk dosage forms are again of two types, that is internal and external. In case of internal, they have to provide it as a powders or granular form. In case of external powders, they have to provide in powder form only. Examples are dusting powder and tooth powders. So these are all different types of solid dosage forms. In a picture, tablets, capsules, powders, dusting powders, nerves, all are comes under examples for solid dosage forms. So first one is tablets. Tablets are solid unit dosage form. That means you can take it as a single one. So which are called as unit solid dosage forms containing two or more active ingredient, that means drug, along with excipients, because we can't administer drug alone. That's why we have to add excipients to make it as a tablet. So which consists of two or more excipients, two or more drug along with pharmaceutical excipients. So these tablets are varying in their properties like size, shape, hardness, thickness, dissolution, disintegration. Different types of properties are there for a tablet. So the tablets may vary based on their properties like hardness, shape, size, weight, dissolution and disintegration. Next one is capsules. So capsules are also same unit solid dosage forms which consists of one or more drugs with excipients and which are enclosed in a shell, and that shell is made up of gelatin. Again, this gelatin is of two types, hard gelatin and soft gelatin. In case of hard gelatin capsules, they will pack powders and granules. In case of soft gelatin, they will pack liquid and semi-solids. So capsules are of solid unit dosage forms in which one or more excipients are one or more drugs are packed along with the excipients in a shell, and that shell is made up of gelatin and which is two types, that is hard gelatin and soft gelatin. So hard gelatin capsules containing powder and granules, whereas soft gelatin capsules are packed with liquid or semi-solid. Next one, pills. Pills are rounded small solid dosage forms containing one or more medicaments with excipients for oral use. These tablets, capsules and pills are all for oral use only. That means you can administer through mouth. That is called oral use. And these medicaments or pills can be made up of mixing of this dosage form, mixing of drug with the excipients to form coherent mass. By using some binding solutions, you have to form it as a coherent mass, and that mass is passed to pill pipe to cut into small units. And the cutted small units are again passed into wooden pill rounder to round the pills and to get spherical shape. So the pills are solid dosage forms containing two medicaments, one or more medicaments along with the excipients for oral use. Whereas these medicaments are prepared by mixing of drug along with the excipients by using some binding solution to form coherent mass, and that coherent mass is passed into pill pipe to cut into small units, and the small units are again passed into wooden pill rounder to get spherical shaped pills. Next one is lozenges. So lozenges are also comes under solid dosage forms only, and which consists of sugar and gum and are intended for dissolve in mouth. So which are used to treat mouth infections or throat infections. Example like Vicks or Strepsils or comes under this lozenges. So these are also used for cough remedies also. So these lozenges also comes under solid dosage forms, which consists of sugar and gum along with the medicament, so which are used to dissolve slowly in the mouth. So that's why they can use to relieve any mouth infections or throat infections as well as cough remedies also. And next one is pastils. So pastils are also comes under type of lozenges, but they are more softer than lozenges. That type of dosage forms are called as pastils. So which consists of one or more medicaments along with the excipients, and which consists of glycerol and gelatin or acacia and sugar. Either it may be which consists of medicament along with the sugar or gelatin, glycerol and gelatin or acacia and sugar. These are the combination of pastils. Next one, powders. So powders are bulk dosage forms, whereas tablets are unit dosage forms. So powders are of two types, either it may be for external use or it may be for internal use. In case of internal use, they have to provide in a granules or powder form. In case of bulk powders, they have to prepare in a fine powders to avoid local irritation. So what is a tablet means? Tablet is solid dosage form which consisting of active ingredient along with excipients, and these tablets may vary based on their properties like size, shape, weight, hardness, dissolution and disintegration. These are the properties of drug. Whereas capsules are the also solid dosage forms which consists of one or more active ingredients along with the excipients, and these are packed in shell, and the shell is made up of gelatin. It may be hard gelatin or it may be soft gelatin. In case of hard gelatin capsules, they will pack granules and powders, but in case of soft gelatin, they have to pack liquid and semi-solid. Example is vitamin E capsules for soft gelatin capsules. Pills. In case of pills, also solid dosage forms which consists of drug and excipients, and which may be formed as a coherent mass by addition of some binding agent solution. So that coherent mass is passed into wooden pill pipe to cut into small units, and the small units are again passed into wooden pill rounder to get spherical shaped pills. Next one is lozenges. So lozenges consists of medicament along with sugar and gum. So they are softer in their texture, whereas which can be slowly dissolved in mouth. So they can be used to treat throat infections as well as mouth infections, and also for cough remedies. Whereas in case of pastils, they are same as like lozenges, but they are more softer than lozenges, and which consists of glycerol and gelatin or acacia and sugar along with the medicament. Next one is powders. So powders are of solid dosage forms, and they are of two types. Either it may be internal use or it may be external use. In case of internal use, they will pack powders and granules, but in case of external use, they have to provide enough fine particles to avoid local irritation of the skin. Next one, dusting powders. So dusting powders means which are external application. So they comes under bulk powders for external use. So they might be provided in fine state to avoid local irritation of a cavity or skin. Because if you are providing a large particle size, they may cause local irritation. So we have to provide in fine particle size to avoid local irritation of the skin. And examples for dusting powders are when we wounded, we have to sprinkle some powder. That powder is called as dusting powder. So this dusting powder having some activities like antiseptic, astringent, absorbent, antipyretic actions. So dusting powders are when we got wounded. So on that wound have to sprinkle some powders. No, that powders are called as dusting powders. So this dusting powder having some activity like antiseptic, antipyretic, astringent and absorbent like activities. Next one, insufflations. Insufflations are also comes under medicated dusting powders meant for introduction into body cavity. Body cavities are ear, nose, throat, vagina, etc. So these are also comes under external preparations only, external preparation bulk dosage forms, and these are also called as medicated dusting powders. So inserted into body cavity like vagina, throat, ear and nose by means of some apparatus known as insufflator. So insufflations are administered into body cavity by means of some apparatus known as insufflator. And these are also provided in many very fine particles to avoid local irritation. And next one is snuffs. So snuffs is provided in very small quantity, very fine particle size to avoid local irritation. So major application with these powders are you have to provide it in fine particles to avoid local irritation. It may be for insufflations, or it may be for dusting powders, or it may be for snuffs. You have to provide in very fine particle size to avoid local irritation. Whereas these snuffs are also comes under external solid medicaments for inhale into nostrils. So when we have decongestion effect or blockage of nostrils, we have to inhale these snuffs by application by means of finger beneath the nostril. So after that you have to inhale that powder, then you can get relief from the bronchial blockage, or it may be for relieving from the decongestion effect. So this snuff comes under bulk powder dosage form for external application. When you have respiratory blockage or decongestion effect in the nostril, then you have to inhale this snuffs by application by means of finger. So you have to take snuff on the finger, and the finger have to put beneath your nostril, and you have to inhale the powder by means of inhalation, so that you can get relief from the bronchial decongestion effect, or it may be for blockage of nostrils.